There's another thing that obviously is changing and changes the way we speak now about our future, which is, of course, climate change. I mean, I remember when I was your age, everyone worried about nuclear winter and nuclear war. So now we have to worry about a different kind of winter or a different kind of heating up. Maybe we're worrying about summer more than winter these days. But we have with us Tomas Ries, who is the director of the Swedish Institute for International Affairs and has looked at many things in his career from the Soviet Union on up or down. But I wanted to ask him just to talk to us a little bit about the impact of climate change, environmental pressures. We now have a president in the United States who at least gets the language, which is a change. But is there a prospect for global action? Does NATO have any sort of role to play in these issues? Sir, please.
Thanks a lot. I think the answer is yes to both. Yes, climate change is going to come on the agenda, on the security agenda. And yes, in a 10, 15 years perspective, NATO is going to have a major role to play there. And why is that? Well, first of all, the global ecological crisis is just beginning, and it's going to get worse. It's not just climate change, it's depletion of non-renewable resources and degradation of regional biotopes that provide renewable resources like water, fish, arable land. And then it's disruption of the global ecosystem, and that's climate change. And this process is just beginning. Already the poorer parts of the world already feel this acutely, but also the richer parts of which the NATO members belong to are beginning to feel it. The Mediterranean countries, California, huge fires in the summers, Southeast Australia, other kinds of problems. It's as the global ecological crisis increases, it's going to hit our societies harder, and it's going to become a serious security issue. For instance, water, in a 10, 15-year perspective, water could start having the same price as oil, drinking water. So it will become a serious security issue. Why will NATO have a role? Well, to deal with this problem, we have to do two things. The one is try to regulate our behavior. That's what the Kyoto round is about. That's what the Copenhagen summit this fall will about. That's what everyone's individual efforts to sort of regulate their pollution, so on, is about. But as the crisis gets worse, we're also going to have to police the regulations, I suspect. And in the worst case, perhaps enforce them. And here I foresee that if NATO doesn't do it, someone else will have to do it. But NATO does have the basic role and capability today, so it could develop to deal with this. We have some positive examples. The Norwegians have been patrolling the Barents Sea to protect the fish stock there for about 40 years now. Very difficult because there's a huge Russian fleet in Murmansk, which isn't always so respectful of the rules. But they've done it very successfully. And recently there was a report saying that the fish stocks in the Barents Seas are among the healthiest in the world. But this is just one example. This is a benign example. But in coming years, the need to enforce ecological regulations could become very, very great, especially if the crisis starts to hit us hard.